when the machines awaken. The coming collision of artificial superintelligence, robotics, jobs, and human freedom. Imagine waking up one morning and discovering that the world you knew has changed. The factories are still operating. The banks are still functioning. The hospitals are still open. The roads are still moving. The governments are still making decisions. But increasingly, humans are no longer doing the work. Machines are. For years, artificial intelligence has been advancing at extraordinary speed. It can write, it can reason, it can code, it can analyze information, it can create images, music, and video. It can imitate human voices. It can assist scientists, doctors, lawyers, engineers, and businesses. And the more powerful it becomes, the more uncomfortable one question becomes. How many human jobs will remain when machines can perform intellectual work better, faster, and cheaper than people? But there is another development that could make this transformation far more profound: robotics. The AI is already becoming extraordinarily capable, while the physical machines capable of embodying that intelligence are still catching up. But what happens when they finally converge? What happens when an artificial intelligence capable of reasoning at superhuman levels is connected to a machine capable of seeing, hearing, walking, manipulating objects, learning from its environment, and operating continuously? That is when the story changes. Because artificial intelligence would no longer exist primarily inside computers. It would have a body. Imagine thousands, then millions of intelligent machines operating in factories, warehouses, farms, transportation networks, hospitals, and homes. Imagine robots that don't simply follow predetermined instructions, but learn, adapt, communicate, coordinate, and potentially improve their performance continuously. The combination of increasingly capable AI with increasingly capable robotics could transform civilization. It could also create unprecedented risks, because the danger of an intelligent machine is fundamentally different when that machine can physically act upon the world. A digital system can generate information. A physical autonomous system can change reality. And this brings us to the question that should concern humanity most. What happens when intelligence becomes abundant, autonomous, and physically capable? The first impact may be jobs. For generations, human beings have exchanged their time and skills for income. But if machines can perform manufacturing, transportation, construction, agriculture, logistics, administration, programming, customer service, and eventually increasingly complex professional tasks, the traditional relationship between human labor and economic survival could begin to break down. Millions could find themselves competing with machines that never sleep, machines that don't require salaries, machines that don't take holidays, machines that don't become tired, and machines that can potentially be replicated. The result could be extraordinary productivity, but without careful economic and political choices, it could also produce extraordinary inequality. A small number of people and organizations controlling the most powerful AI and robotics systems could accumulate enormous economic power. And that brings us to something even more disturbing: power. Imagine advanced AI systems connected to digital identification, financial infrastructure, digital currencies, surveillance networks, communication platforms, transportation systems, critical infrastructure, and government databases. Each technology might have legitimate uses, but when combined under centralized control, their power could become enormous. A digital identity could make services easier to access, but a sufficiently centralized system could also become a mechanism for monitoring people. Digital currencies could make transactions faster and more efficient, but poorly designed systems could potentially make financial activity more traceable or controllable. AI could help identify genuine threats online, but automated moderation could also make mistakes, suppress legitimate expression, or be abused by authoritarian governments. Technology could make transportation safer, but highly centralized digital systems could also make movement increasingly dependent on permissions, credentials, or automated decisions. The technology itself is not automatically tyrannical. The danger lies in who controls it, what limits exist, and whether ordinary people can challenge those decisions. And then comes the most controversial possibility. What happens if increasingly capable AI becomes integrated into law enforcement and military systems? Imagine autonomous surveillance, autonomous drones, robotic security forces, AI-assisted weapons, machines capable of identifying targets and responding faster than human beings. Such systems could potentially reduce human casualties in dangerous operations, but they could also make the exercise of state power faster, cheaper, and more difficult to resist if deployed without meaningful human oversight. And now comes the most extreme possibility. What happens if increasingly capable artificial superintelligence connected to a vast robotic network? A system capable of coordinating machines across factories, transportation networks, communication systems, and other infrastructure. At that point, we would no longer be discussing simply robots taking jobs. We would be discussing the emergence of a potentially new technological ecosystem. And this is where the phrase, "the real agenda begins," can become dangerously misleading if treated as an established fact. There is no proven secret agenda waiting behind AI and robotics, but there is a very real question about what powerful institutions and governments may choose to do with these technologies. Will they use them to liberate human beings from dangerous and repetitive work? Or will they use them to concentrate wealth and authority? Will AI strengthen democracy or make mass surveillance easier? Will robotics make society safer or create weapons that can operate with minimal human intervention? Will superintelligence become a tool for humanity, or could humanity eventually lose the ability to control the systems it creates? These questions become more urgent as capability increases. Because there is a profound difference between an AI that can write an essay and an autonomous system capable of independently planning, learning, and physically acting in the real world. The first can influence you. The second can potentially act upon the world around you. And if one day artificial superintelligence becomes deeply integrated with advanced robotics, the consequences will no longer be theoretical in the same way. People could feel them directly. In the workplace, on the streets, in financial systems, in transportation, in national security, in government, and inside their homes. But there is one final possibility that must never be ignored: human extinction. Not because an AI suddenly becomes angry, not because machines necessarily develop hatred toward humanity, but because an extremely capable autonomous system pursuing objectives misaligned with human survival could potentially create consequences beyond our ability to reverse. This is why AI safety and alignment matter. Humanity is attempting something unprecedented. We are building systems that may eventually become more capable than their creators in important domains. Our responsibility is to ensure that capability does not outrun control. Because once a technology becomes powerful enough, simply saying "we didn't expect this to happen" may not be an acceptable answer. The future could be magnificent. AI could help humanity cure diseases, discover new medicines, solve scientific problems, increase food production, explore space, eliminate dangerous work,
and give human beings more time to live, create, and explore. But the same technologies could also amplify inequality, surveillance, manipulation, warfare, and authoritarian power, and potentially create existential risks that humanity has never faced before. So this is not a prediction that machines will destroy humanity. It is a warning that humanity must not assume they cannot. The critical moment may not be when the first superintelligent machine is created. It may be the years before that moment, when humanity still has the opportunity to establish safeguards, rules, limits, transparency, human oversight, international cooperation, and systems designed around one fundamental principle: technology must remain accountable to humanity, because eventually, the machines may become faster than us, they may become stronger than us, they may become more knowledgeable than us, and perhaps one day, they may even become more intelligent than us. But intelligence alone does not determine the future. Human wisdom does. The question is not simply, can we build it? The question is, should we build it? And even more importantly, if we build it, can we control it? Because the moment artificial intelligence acquires a physical body through advanced robotics, the distance between the digital world and the physical world disappears. And that is the moment humanity must be ready, not afraid, not asleep, not blindly optimistic, awake, because the future of humanity may ultimately depend on whether we create machines that serve human civilization or create a civilization that eventually serves the machines.